Great Britain lets guests in pubs and restaurants again, despite the apparently more contagious COVID variant from India. Just a few weeks ago, everything had looked so good. The number of COVID cases in Great Britain has fallen dramatically in the past 3 months. The vaccination program is running flawlessly, and although the country has been gradually opening up since March, there is still no sign of a third wave. But now the health experts are sounding the alarm. The Indian variant B.1.617.2 is spreading rapidly in some English regions. Because it could be significantly more contagious than the previous COVID mutants, the situation could escalate quickly. Health Secretary Matt Hancock said Sunday that the new variant of the virus could spread like wildfire among people who are not vaccinated. The hotspots include several towns in the north of England, such as Bolton. The number of infections there has increased rapidly since the end of April, and the number of COVID cases doubled in the first week of May. The variant B.1.617.2 is now responsible for the majority of the new infections in Bolton. Cases of this variant have also been found in many other regions. Public Health England said Saturday that 1,313 cases of the mutation have been recorded nationwide. According to epidemiologist John Edmonds, who sits on the government's scientific advisory board, the Indian mutation is very likely to soon become the dominant variant of COVID across the UK. The number of new infections across the country is still relatively low. Around 2,000 new cases have been reported every day for weeks. The 7-day incidence is around 25 cases per 100,000 population. That could change quickly as there is increasing evidence that the new variant is even more contagious than the Kent mutant. This was responsible for the devastating second wave of pandemics in winter, which drove the health service to the brink of collapse. According to scientific models, a new type of COVID that is 40% more contagious than the Kent virus could result in around 6,000 COVID patients being hospitalized every day, more than at the height of the second wave. However, there is currently no reliable data on how much faster the Indian mutation is spreading. People should be concerned but not panic, says expert John Edmonds. But there's also good news. The vaccinations seem to work against the variant. At least this is what initial data from Oxford University suggest. The vaccinated population should be largely protected against serious disease, hospitalizations and deaths, said Oxford professor John Bell. And we just have to pump our way through. A race against time begins. Health officials want to vaccinate as many people as possible before the virus can spread again. Great Britain is not doing badly in this regard. Around 55% of the population have received the first dose, 30% have already received 2. This week, all over 35s will be admitted for the first vaccination. 500,000 Britons are currently vaccinated every day. The government intends to increase the daily doses to 800,000 within 2 weeks. However, Prime Minister Boris Johnson has stuck to his timetable for the opening despite warnings from experts. English pubs and restaurants have been serving in the interior since Monday. Museums and cinemas are open and up to 6 people can gather in one house. Many experts think this is wrong. The new threat posed by the new variant requires a delay, says Professor Susan Michie, for example, who is also on the government's committee of experts. The government has always claimed that it is guided by data rather than stubbornly following a fixed schedule. They would find it surprising that the timetable is retained without adjustment, they say. Boris Johnson is also under close fire for another reason. He did not do enough to prevent another outbreak at all, because when it became clear in April that India was facing a huge pandemic outbreak, the country was not on the red list of COVID hotspots. Anyone who flies in from such a country has to be in hotel quarantine for 10 days. But India, where over 100,000 new infections were reported as early as April 5th, has only been on that list since April 23rd. The government had failed to prioritize the protection of borders, said Labour MP Steve Reid. Particularly explosive is the accusation that Johnson hesitated so long for political reasons. He himself had planned a trip to India for the end of April to deepen the economic partnership. A closer relationship with the emerging economic power is one of the government's priorities in order to offset any trade losses with the EU. Despite all the warnings from health experts to close the borders, Johnson waited. It looks like Johnson has weighted a trade deal with India more than the health of the population, said Liberal Democrat MP Leila Moran. And there still doesn't seem to be that big of a problem with the traffic between those two countries, because I saw a tweet from Max Robespierre today where he posted or retweeted a picture from London Heathrow, I guess it was, with the flight schedule, those tables hanging up there showing the next flights. And there was a lot of Delhi on that one. And I really am wondering why so many flights go to India if it's not really wise to go there. It can't be all just business reason, I don't know. And still, if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.